Last Thursday, the government announced its long-awaited plans to reform the criminal legal aid scheme in England and Wales. The Justice Secretary, Chris Grayling, says the reforms are the best he can achieve, given that he has to reduce his budget by a third. Barristers' fees will be cut by 6%, although the Bar Council said their fees had already fallen by more than 20% since 2007. Solicitors' fees will be cut by 17.5%, although the Law Society said that Mr Grayling had softened the impact of his reforms in response to their views. As I said earlier, Nicola Hill is president of the London Criminal Court Solicitors Association. She specialises in regulatory work at the law firm Kingsley Napley. Nicola Hill, you said that Mr Grayling's announcement made it a shameful day in criminal justice history. Really?
Absolutely. It's a shameful day because in one foul swoop the Lord Chancellor has destroyed justice and access to justice, and he's done that, as you say, by imposing these cuts. You mentioned 17.5%. In reality, in a lot of areas it's a lot more, up to 30 or 40%. In addition, he's planning on reducing the number of duty contracts available from the 1,400 currently available to 525. What this actually means for clients and the public generally is that in a very short space of time many firms will go to the wall.
But the Law Society, which represents solicitors like you, and represents all solicitors, said it had secured all sorts of concessions: reinstatement of client choice, removal of price competitive tendering, dropping of a single fee irrespective of plea, the ability for firms to submit joint bids, loan guarantees underwritten by the government. I don't want you to explain what all of those are, but it does sound as if there are some concessions by the government.
The government have made a few concessions, of course, but some of those concessions that they've made should never have been in there in the first place. Of course, price competitive tendering was never going to work because client choice must always come first. They've removed the perverse incentive, which means a lawyer gets paid the same whether an individual pleads guilty or not guilty. But quite frankly, those concessions, as they're called, are not worth a bean if there's no lawyers left in order to do the work, and that is what's going to happen. Firms are going to close and there will be no access to justice.
So what are you going to do about it?
Well, a number of things. We would like to have ongoing conversations with the Lord Chancellor. Unfortunately, he's not spoken to us so far. He says he has, but of course that was just a PR stunt. We've provided him with economic evidence, which he has completely disregarded, despite saying that he would listen to it. In the more immediate term, there is to be a demonstration this Friday, the 7th of March. We're calling it Grayling Day. There's to be a march from Parliament to the Ministry of Justice where a document will be handed in. I won't say too much about that now because I don't want to spoil the surprise, but certainly a demo in the morning. And what's important this time is that solicitors and barristers are standing together in unity against the proposed cuts.
But they're standing outside court, and so courts will have to close on Friday?
Well, it's a matter for individuals how they respond to the proposals from the government. But yes, a number of people will not be going to court on Friday. And I think that's important because so far the government have got by on the goodwill of the defence community. And I'm afraid that goodwill is no longer there, and it won't happen in the future. The
lawyers won't be going to court, but the defendants will still be in the dock. They're going to be unrepresented. That's not going to help them.
It's unfortunate that that will be a side effect, but we think that it's much more important that we defend their rights in the long run and ensure that there's decent access to justice in the long run. And if one day of discomfort is what is needed for that, then so be it. Of course, there will be duty solicitors available in court to deal with the most important cases and those in custody.
Nicola Hill, thank you very much indeed, and I hope to put some of your points to the government later in this series of Law in Action.